start tonight with the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilmember Parada and an invocation by my good friend Pastor Michael Scioli, Calvary Chapel, Ontario.
Please remove your hats and place your right hand over your heart. Ready to begin?
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor Leon, city council members, ladies and gentlemen, in the book of Philippians, chapter 4, verse 6 and 7, we are told to be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. Father, we come before you, and I lift up this meeting tonight, Lord, and many times in your word, you speak of peace and you speak of unity, and I pray for that in this place tonight. I pray, God, that what is said is considered, and Lord, I pray that it would be for constructive purposes. I pray how is said what is said, God, that would be considered as well. So, Father, I just lift up this meeting that you would bless it, that you would bless the people through it. I pray, Father, for the servants of this city. I pray for the fire department and the police department, first responders, God, that you would watch over them and keep them. Lord, give us a passion and a vision for the future based upon a concern for the welfare of the people of our good city, we pray. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Pastor. Okay, Mr. City Attorney, we'll get a report on our closed session.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. Mayor, good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Long day, I apologize. The council met in closed session to consider both of the items as listed on your agenda, received an updated direction, and provided directions to staff with no reportable action. Thank you.
I'll have to take that because you also work for Fontana. Hold it up with that, no, you did that. And then before we get into public comments, Mr. City Manager, you had an announcement to make or some additions?
Yes, sir. We are very pleased to respond to the council and community that beginning next week on the 20th of July, we will be streaming this meeting live online and have it archived on the city's website. And further, in a real first for Ontario, in the months subsequent to this one, we will begin televising, streaming our commission meetings. And so you'll see that over the ensuing months, and we will do our best to make sure that the meetings are very comfortable and very inviting for folks. But first and foremost, that the residents and businesses of Ontario are able to engage and view all of the wonderful things that are happening, not just at this council level, but at the commission level as well. And it's something that the council has been focused on. We're happy to bring it forward.
I know that there were some questions about that, and there was an appearance that there was a reluctance. That wasn't the case at all. We just had to fight through some technical difficulties, isn't that correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. We're just waiting to get it all fixed. Okay, so then we are now into public comments. I want to inform you that at this point we have 18 public comments, and everybody has 3 minutes to speak, in which our city clerk will give you a very loud 1 minute remaining. We're going to stick close to that because there's so many. We will only go for 30 minutes, and then probably after the 10th speaker or so, we'll have to get in with the rest of the meeting and then come back at the end of the meeting for the rest of the public comment. So we'll begin with our public comments, and our first speaker is Nancy Bumstead.
I'm on my way. Your brother's in my way.
Excuse me.
my name is Nancy Bumstead. I am co-owner of a small business here in Ontario called Bumstead Bicycles. I'm a wife to Lloyd Bumstead, also known as Poor Lloyd. I'm also the mom to Garrison and Katie Rose, and a mother-in-law to my daughter's wife, Emily. Lloyd and I pride ourselves in knowing we are continuing the Bumstead legacy here in Ontario. I make these comments here tonight because I believe there is an individual on this dais that doesn't know my family here in Ontario. As an infant, we need to be fed by our parents to survive. Well, as an adult, most of us are able to feed ourselves. Well, it has been made very apparent that we have some adults in Ontario that are being hand-fed incorrect information. I received a private message on Facebook from an individual that, one, I have never met, and two, I honestly don't have much desire to know after receiving the message. All of you, I believe, have the sheet of the messages I received. So back to my point about being fed as an infant and needing to survive. Well, it has become apparent that we have a council person hand-feeding individuals information, hoping to help himself survive. This seems to have become a pattern of behavior. My personal recommendation is that the individuals eating up all the false information being spooned out to them, that they do their own research. When someone continues to repeat the lies and spread gossip, that causes problems, and often in just an attempt to hurt someone's reputation. Especially when it is being given to you by someone that is only trying to make themselves look good and be popular. I know for a fact that people that enjoy trashing other people are not good leaders. The leadership in Ontario has always been above this nonsense, and I'm proud to see that the majority of our elected officials continue to lead the city of Ontario and its residents with respect and not gossip and false information. I would like to close my comments with thanking the police and fire personnel for doing an awesome job on the 4th of July, trying to stop all the illegal fireworks going on throughout our city. Thank you.
The next speaker is Mark Mancina. Right.
Thank you. First, last meeting was an absolute embarrassment on behalf of the mayor and Councilman Wapner. Gentlemen, you should be ashamed of yourselves. For those who did not attend, here's a brief synopsis. There was a Facebook post by someone who outlined his disapproval for the mayor's commission of Mr. DeAndre Lampkin to city planning commissioner. Councilman Valencia reposted it and also shared his disapproval. Mayor Leon and Councilman Wapner vigorously and without remorse accused Councilman Valencia of being a racist and homophobic. So the record is absolutely clear. The reason this person did not agree with the mayor's decision is because his religious beliefs did not allow him to support DeAndre Lampkin because Lampkin is a porn star. Never was there mention of Lampkin's race or sexual orientation.
Okay.
DeAndre Lampkin is a porn star.
Mr. Mancina,
Title of
hold
this
on,
movie-
just a second, stop the time, stop the time.
This
Mr.
is not
Mancina,
racism, this is not bigotry.
you're not gonna lose your
it's not
time, just
facts.
stop for a second. You're not gonna lose your time. Folks, look, we have to, give him the same respect that you heard from Ms. Bumstead. So please, let him speak. You don't have to agree with him, and we don't have to agree with him, but you do have to, in public comment, give him the respect to say what he has to say without disruption. That's what this is all about. And it's also why we can't comment back with him, because it's not supposed to be an argument. He's making him a statement, whether you agree with him or not. Ms. Bumstead made a statement, whether you agree with her or not. So please continue.
May I, can I ask what my time is at?
You're at 2:13.
As I was stating, never was there mention of Lampkin's race or sexual orientation. DeAndre Lampkin is a porn star. The title of this movie is called Towing the Line. This is not racism, this is not bigotry, these are facts. Why does this matter? The mayor has allowed a porn star to be in direct contact with children as a planning commissioner. This mayor clearly has no moral standards. This is not hyperbole, this is a fact. As planning commissioner, you are in direct contact with children. The mayor knows this and still appointed him. The other reason I'm up here has to do with the egregious and arrogant accusations made by Mayor Leone and Councilman Wapner. By their accusations, one would think they are perfect human beings. This cannot be further from the truth. The mayor is a pastor and is held to higher standards in God's eyes, so says the Bible. Last meeting, he spoke of transparency. Let's be transparent. You cheated on your wife between the years of 2007 and 2009. I encourage everyone to read the article entitled, 7 Years After Cut, Ontario Mayor Gets His Pay Restored. For those of you wondering, he received a pay cut because he was unfaithful to his wife and embarrassed the city. Councilman Wapner, you, sir, sat in that same seat and spoke about your integrity. For those of you who are not aware, there is a YouTube video of Councilman Wapner beating his daughter in broad daylight on the street he lives on. This is not my opinion. This is the fact. You should be ashamed of yourself. The video is on YouTube and is titled Councilmember Alan Wapner. I encourage everyone to watch it. To recap, this city has a planning commissioner appointed by Mayor Leone, who is a porn star. Paul Leone is a lustful adulterer and has no business being a pastor or a mayor. Councilman Wapner is a child abuser. It is on video. It does not live up to his own standards. None of this is my opinion. This is all fact. You gentlemen owe the city an apology for misrepresenting intentionally a Facebook post. Also, one last comment, Mayor. Are there any other hotels that you frequent in search of another affair? Thank you.
How dare you!
Well, look, folks, like I said, you don't have to agree, not to believe, just let them speak. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Let them speak. Next is Graham Zovich.
Thank you for allowing me to speak on my behalf as well as numerous other parents and community members this evening. I know your time is valuable and it's greatly appreciated. My name is Graham Zovich. I'm a lifelong resident of Ontario and a proud graduate of Trinity High School. I'm here to ask for your consideration to reopen the old Ontario Central baseball field at Bonneview Park. Everyone here today, and many more who couldn't make it, but who have given me the blessing to speak on their behalf, are either parents or community members who are willing to support financially and with their time to help me up on the field. I myself have a 10-year-old son who is currently an all-star for Ontario Eastern. Me and my wife have enjoyed having our son play there for the last 4 years, in which time I have been a certified volunteer coach. With that said, we have also dealt with certain aspects of management and restrictions of Little League Baseball that we, as well as numerous other parents, have come to disagree with. I would like to open up Pony League for all Ontario residents, which under the rules and regulations will allow all Ontario and surrounding areas to have their children sign up. In doing so, we would not interfere with the boundaries of either Ontario Western or Eastern Little League. We want to become a home field for monthly clinics for varying ages, skill levels in baseball and softball, as well as creating a home for traveling elite baseball and softball teams of all ages, which is currently unavailable for local residents. I have current elite level coaches with professional baseball training and years of major league experience on board to run the overseeing of all levels of training, including planned adapted volunteer coach training clinics to uphold the standard of education for both athletic and emotional support for all children involved. I also have guarantees of dedicated hours for multiple parents for field rejuvenation, a constant upkeep, and a dedicated board for all the hard work that is required for something of this magnitude. This is not something that can be created overnight, as we all know, but it's something that I, as well as many others, have taken into full account or are both willing and dedicated to create.
1 minute remaining.
The hardest part of doing something like this is finding a field with the means, and Bonneview already has or can easily be renovated to offer all of them. I would like to call my good friend and partner to speak a few words.
Hi guys, my name is Lawrence Alvarez. I have 25 years experience in baseball and softball. I'm an ex-professional athlete. Played with the Chicago Cubs for about 6 years. I got drafted in 1998. I managed three elite softball teams, age groups of 16, 14, and 12 at the moment. And I also train youth athletes on every level. About the growth and development of each student. I would love to take this opportunity for the City of Ontario, and I'd love for the challenge, and thank you guys for the moment.
Oh, Mr. City Manager, sounds like a conversation we recently had. We got some guys we want to talk to you to. but we want some guys, we have some guys we'd like you to talk to. He'll tell you who they are.
Awesome.
Let's get on it.
Where's Nick? There he is.
Right.
Oh, perfect. I was gonna ask you who I should talk to. So thank you for your guys' time. So I want to speak to this.
Yeah, that's the good stuff. Okay, so, Martha Aragon.
Una pandemia que ha durado más de un año, mi esposo y yo deshabilitados por trabajar duro para pagar estudio de mis hijos, biles, aseguranza de salud de casa y carros y pagos de mortgage de casa y sobre todo taxes que se incrementan con el tiempo para el condado. Porque el condado no se apodere de mi casa y la venda en subasta. Un trabajo que le atrasa todos sus cheques a mi esposo alrededor de 3 meses por errores de empleados y del sistema inicuo que está a favor de los de arriba. Mi esposo y yo hemos tenido que usar tarjetas de crédito para salir adelante en esta pandemia y como ya saben todos ustedes, las personas de la clase media no calificamos para ninguna ayuda federal porque mi esposo tiene un trabajo que supuestamente le paga mucho más arriba del límite de pobreza.
During the pandemic that has lasted a year, me and my husband are both have disabilities. Both of us work hard to have our sons pay for our children's schooling, between the bills, insurances, other payments that have to be made for the mortgage. The county isn't able to help us with any type of assistance. There's been a lot of errors with this unemployment, and we've been essentially surviving using credit cards over these last few months. We've applied for different types of assistances, but according to the federal standards, we do not, our income is too high to essentially qualify for any of these types of programs.
Una explosión en Francis que sacudió la tierra y que se sintió hasta la luna y causó muchos daños en todo nuestro vecindario. El ingeniero de mi aseguranza y su compañía constructora calcularon hasta ahora 33,000 en daños en mi casa y yo vivo como a un blog. ¿Qué pasará con las casas de las personas que no usaron la aseguranza o no la usarán? Porque la ciudad de Ontario se lava las manos diciendo que no fue negligencia de ellos y se niegan a pagar, aunque sea el deducible de la aseguranza, que muchas personas no pueden pagar y prefieren dejar a varias personas en la calle.
After the explosion on Francis, it was a very terrible explosion that really affected our houses, and it felt much like an earthquake, creating a lot of damage within the immediate neighborhood. At this point, my insurance has calculated over $33,000 in damages to my home. I live a block away. I'm concerned with some of the other people within the neighborhood that don't have homeowners insurance to pay for the damages that were incurred from the explosion. The City of Ontario has not committed any funds to helping residents within the area to pay for any of the deductibles or any of the damages to the homes. At this point, various people are unable to pay, and many of the homes are in disarray as a result.
Ayer hubo explosiones en todo mi vecindario sin importar que muchos hemos sido diagnosticados con PTSD y estamos tomando medicina. La ciudad puso un teléfono para reportar las explosiones ilegales, pero yo con ataques de pánico, ¿cómo salgo a ver quién está reventando pólvora? ¿Por qué la ciudad no puso más agentes a patrullar nuestra área? Lo único que me dice todo esto es que los que manejan esta ciudad son unos ineptos o no nos ven como seres humanos, que busquemos ayuda legal, es lo que dice. Ok, les aseguro que buscaremos ayuda legal, no por dinero, sino por principios, para que ustedes hagan las cosas correctas como la ciudad de Los Ángeles.
Yesterday there were several explosions throughout the whole neighborhood. There wasn't much to do. I had several people with PTSD, many of us taking medication. The city put out a telephone to report illegal explosions, but it's very difficult to go out and see who exactly is firing these explosions when you have PTSD and you have panic attacks. So it's very difficult to go out within the neighborhood and investigate. Why doesn't the city put more agents out in the city, put more policing out in the area to help manage these issues? Can the city stop being inept, and can they see us as human beings, or should we look for legal help? We're not looking for money, it's about principles, and can we do things correctly like the city of LA?
Okay. They estimate for the insurance over 33,000. The city declining to make payments. That's to me, that I speak English. Think about the people who don't speak English.
Well, Mr. City Manager, everything that she was saying, I know most of the answers for. I think somebody needs to have a good conversation with her to explain these things. Could you please assign somebody to?
Yes, sir. Ms. Gonzalez is our housing director, very familiar with the city's programs, including the tens of thousands of dollars that have been expended by the city in relation to this event. She's also very much aware of the programs being offered from the county that they opted ultimately to go through United Way. She can help navigate some of that if that's applicable here.
But the insurance companies by the state rule are not allowed to have a deductible on all of this.
The insurance commissioner has made a number of representations, and so what we would do is put her in contact with his office. He was very clear about wanting to play a role with folks who ultimately are determined to be victims of crime. And so we would make that connection as well.
Thank you. Okay, our next speaker is,
You can tell her to go talk to the lady in the back there. She
Oh.
likes that you know.
oh, yeah, no, we should come together then. Oscar Hernandez.
Hello, City Council, thank you for letting me speak. Did just want to approach the council and everybody here to let everybody know that as a person that does live here in Ontario and works here, we do have to do a better job of as far as bringing the community together and sort of making sure that our city officials, or as far as commissioners, are going, having a little bit of support, and that's why I'm here. I have had the privilege to work with DeAndre Lampkin and throughout his foundation with the census and with the food distribution. And I did just want to make sure that, you know, you guys know that he is a stand-up guy, and you guys did make the right decision in appointing as far as him to that position. He does do a lot here for the city. So we have fed over 1,000 families here within the city of Ontario. So we did just want to make sure that we're here to support him, and making sure that the city does know that there's support for leaders within the community that want to bring people together and have good social interactions within all communities, of whether I myself am Hispanic, and whether you identify with LGBT or whatever it is, we just need better social interaction here. And we just want to thank people like DeAndre for creating those opportunities.
Juana Castaneda.
Hello, good evening. My name is Juana Castaneda, and this time, well, I really appreciate for the time that you guys have provided me. I just want to thank Mr. DeAndre for all that he does for the community. He has shown his passion for his community in various ways. One of them is providing food for those in need, no matter their race or gender or color. During the pandemic, care staffing professionals and the Lambkin Foundation, they came together and they helped out and provided jobs for individuals and residents from the Ontario city. And I'm very proud, to support Mr. DeAndre. He has helped me a lot as well. Since I came into his company, he's shown his compassion and love for everybody. And it's something, I get emotional because he was there for me in my moments that I needed him as a single mother. We go through a lot of hardships, but he was there to support me and help me out in the moments that I needed. So I am very thankful for Mr. DeAndre Lambkin. I know there's a lot of people that come here and say a lot of bad things about him, but God knows what he does for everybody in this community. I know he has done a lot for a lot of people in this community, and I'm just very thankful and grateful for Mr. DeAndre Lambkin.
This looks like it's Joseph Machado and Rita Nelson. Okay.
Thank you. I'm not gonna read this.
Well, where is Joseph here? Oh, I'm sorry. How do I know? I don't know Joseph.
My name is Rita Nelson. I love you, Mayor.
I love you too.
I just love you, Mayor. I live at 1456 Philadelphia Street. I live in a modular unit there in South Ontario. I'm gonna try to get through this without crying. Today's been a very sad day. And I got up early in the morning to go buy things and get things ready because we were gonna bury and spread his ashes, Joseph Machado. Joseph Machado, if any of you remember, he was a student who had a lot of physical problems that rode his bike across America, and his parents followed him. And I have to thank people. I have to thank the fire department, Chief Guy. I have to thank the police department. I have to thank the Ontario Kiwanis Department, who were the first people who stood up and gave this money, passed the hat, when Jerry Dubois said it's time to take the money out of your pockets and put it for this kid who's gonna ride his bike across America, raising money for children with disabilities, challenges that we used to call handicapped, challenges, and this kid did that. He woke up last week. I mean, he didn't wake up. He was so bright. He had an IQ 189. This kid didn't even have to go finish his last 4 years of school because he was so bright. He rode his bike clear across and kept in touch with us. But that's not all. Last week, he died in bed with an aneurysm. He never woke up.
One minute remaining.
His parents called him to come down for breakfast. And that's when they noticed he was gone. Today we went up to Big Bear and had permission from the San Bernardino County, and we spread his ashes. And he loved Fred, because Fred reached out to all the the entities, Rotary, thanks for Rotary, and all the entities to raise money for this kid so he could ride his bike. And all the places they stayed, Salvation Armies, to YMCA's where they stayed and saved money. And I want to tell you, he loved Ontario. He loved Ontario. He was a resident of Rancho though, but he loved Ontario, and he left out of the convention center. And there was the fire department, the police department, all these bicyclists that held him to go all the way to the Cajon Pass, and then they came around and turned around and come back. I want to thank the city of Ontario for being so gracious and loving to Joseph Machado. Thank you for all you do. I love you for all the hard work you do, council people. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I don't know if you remember when I was in Kiwanis with you,
That's
when
right.
that picture was taken.
That's exactly right.
Brings back a lot of memories of us 25 years ago.
I forgot you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you.
yeah. Well, we'll go with one more, Loretta Gilbert. Oh, no, that's not where we are. We are with, Preet, is that it? Preet, S?
Hello and good evening, everybody in this room today. I just wanted to take a moment and share some thoughts that have been going around about Mr. DeAndre Lampkin. In 2018, I was in a very, very vulnerable place in my life after losing my dad. Mr. DeAndre Lampkin was the first individual that I got in contact with. He has put his heart and soul into my family. He has driven me not only to be an employee, but to be a leader for our organization. Mr. DeAndre, through the hardest times during the COVID-19 pandemic, has offered over 100 jobs to individuals that were in their most vulnerable stages of life. He has a food pantry open every single week where he is able to provide food that's given to these families who are unfortunate and not blessed like all of us, who are bringing income in continuously. That food pantry, since I've been there, has never been empty, and it shows things that he is doing outside of just being on the dais. When he's up here, he's going out of his way to help the community, and there are certain people sitting on this dais today who have a name, who have council member written next to their name, but they're just there for it to see. Are they actually helping their community? Are they going above and beyond of who they actually are up there? It's easy to say yes because he is Black. Yes, he has been in movies. Yes, he has done other things previously before he became who he is today. But can you really judge somebody just by the color of his skin and for what he's done in his past? It's questions that we need to be thinking about. These are scenarios we need to be thinking about. We cannot just come up here and bash somebody because of what they've done in their past. Look at their future and look what they are doing today for their community, because half of us in this room are not even doing 1% of what he is doing. And that's all I really have to say.
Okay, folks, I'm really torn, because we still have, quite a few speakers here, 10 more. And, we can just get through it. I just assume get through it instead of putting everybody to the end of the meeting.
Yes, please continue.
So, thank you. But I'm gonna ask everybody to maintain their, just let's not have any outbursts. Like I said, you don't have to agree with what's being said. This is everybody's right to speak for 3 minutes, and just let them do it. Because when there are outbursts, it just prolongs things. And I'd like to just get through this, okay? Thank all of you who have spoken already. So our next speaker is Linda Nelson.
council members and staff. My name is Linda Nelson, and I am fully aware of the difficulties and the issues and the problems that you as a body have to face every day. But the comments that I'm going to make are heartfelt, and I believe I'm probably not the only citizen in Ontario who feels this way. I've been a resident of Ontario since 1975, when my husband and 2 young children came here from upstate New York. So Ontario, Canada was kind of an interesting segue to Ontario, California. We had a job with General Dynamics and settled in South Ontario. I want to say to all of you that over the years, I've loved living here. I'm a first-generation immigrant family member from Germany. My parents, both sides, immigrated in 1925 to finally get away from post-World War I issues and the coming of Nazism. So I am fully aware of the difficulties of coming and becoming part of a community. I want to say thank you to you. I want to say thank you for your leadership and your dedication to all the people of Ontario, in spite of the unbelievable issues we've had lately this summer. For the best police and fire personnel in Southern California, thank you. I meet them every day in our community, and I give them the thumbs up when I see them. They're wonderful. For a peaceful, well-maintained, and clean city. You can drive up and down Euclid Avenue, the magnolia trees, the rose bushes, the historical elements that are part of this city.
1 minute remaining.
Thank you very much for bringing the airport back. Thank you for the returning events of concerts and car shows and parades, and for running the city like a business, because that's what's been bringing business back here to us. And we're all prospering because of it. And in spite of our difficulties and in spite of our problems, we're going to succeed. And I want to thank you most of all for your moral compass, because I know it's guiding you. And I thank you very much for your time.
Do you have a full minute left? Okay, our next is Loretta Gilbert.
Thank you and good evening to the City Council, the Mayor. I am here to address the DeAndre Lampkins Foundation. Over a year ago, I came to the foundation just to find out what they were about. And they are in the realm of what I do professionally, because I have many professionals. Okay, I understand that meeting the needs of a community, and this community of Ontario is very serious. I have lived here for over 20 years, and I have not seen things to become the way as they are now, with the pandemic and everything else. But the Lampkins Foundations are here to meet the need of the people. And as my co-volunteers and co-staff has already stated, that on a weekly basis, food is distributed to the families in this community, a much needed commodity and many other things, and not just food, toys, giveaways, at school time, backpacks, some computer equipment, and many other things. I could go on with the list. But we are here to support the Lampkins Foundation, along with Mr. Lampkins. This city is in need of such organizations, and DeAndre Lampkins has met that need. I have observed it over the last year and found it to be everything that it is supposed to be. And our neighbors we have neighbors in this city who may not always agree with certain things, but there's no reason to give a bad report of something. Because it's like this. If you checked everybody's records, you're gonna find some negativity in every person in this room. So, are we qualified to point fingers? I don't think so. We're qualified to do what we do, and that's to judge our own self and do the good that we can do to help others in the community. And as a community stands together, when we stand together, we're standing in oneness to meet the needs, but divided we'll fall, and the needs of the people will not be met. So we have to make choices on an everyday basis. And I would wonder, what choice would you make? A choice to do evil, to speak well of someone, or to speak evil, and to allow the boomerang, the slander, to come back to you? Because we have to remember, whatsoever a person sow down the road, they will reap it 7 times more than what they have sown against someone else. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Selena Lopez.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. My name is Selena Lopez, resident 43 years here in Ontario, future candidate for Council 2022.
But you can't campaign here, we told you that.
I'm not campaigning.
Well, you're announcing that you're campaigning. Okay, just get back to what you're talking about. Thank you.
Seems like I always get interrupted. The Brown Act violation. Well, there's a lot of Brown Acts being violated here, so.
Okay, just get to the subject.
Okay.
You're losing your time.
I am losing my time, but you keep interrupting me, so can I keep getting my time? So last meeting, so again, let's talk about the Brown Act. Every time we say that the 3 minutes public speaking, you can't comment, that's a violation of the Brown Act. But at the end of the meeting, there's always a summary comments of the public comments, which leads us to coming back to the next city council meeting to address the summary of the public comments from the last meeting. I was wrapped up in a comment of a narrative of hate and racist and all of that, because you said, Mr. Mayor, that the speakers that spoke, I was a speaker. And in my household, hate is a bad word. And if my daughter was right here and she heard me say hate, she would tell me right now, Mommy, that's a bad word. I've been fighting for equality for all. There is no hate. And so whatever narrative is being out there, that's not me. I will always fight for equality for all. I think everybody deserves that. Now, I felt so bad for Mr. Lampkin. I really did, when he was called out at the meeting. Maybe it wasn't his time that he wanted to expose it publicly. But you, Mr. Mayor, and Mr. Walker called him out. That was disrespectful to him, and I felt really bad.
Please don't speak to me.
I'm not speaking for you.
I'll speak on my behalf.
The point is, I felt bad, and yet, anything I do at this point, I get it. Anything I do, anything I say, any good thing I do is gonna be turned around. And I get that. It's part of it, and I will take it. But at this point, I will continue to stay positive. I will continue to do good in our community and fight equality for all and be an advocate for those who need that voice. Thank you.
Jessica Mia. At the last city council meeting, I shared about the treatment other residents received when asking for assistance. I asked for the same accommodations regarding my concerns about what my community needed. I was then instructed to speak to the city manager. I provided his assistant with my phone number. I was told I would get a call back the next morning. There was a 0 call made to me the next morning. I took time to block out my entire work school schedule waiting for this call. I was told by a community member that they would tell you anything you want to shut you up. They don't care about the community. I disagree with this statement. I feel you may care. It's just that you're not used to a community having a voice with follow through. And you may dismiss us at times. I'm still here. I don't plan on going anywhere. I'm here to work with y'all, and here's my email for the city manager. We had a moment where we had some less than desirable statements made publicly by our mayor and councilmember Wapner. I want to let you know that since the meeting on 6/15, my life has been a bit difficult, to the point where people were concerned for my safety. I've been accused of falsifying a video recording. I've been accused of being a racist and homophobe and accused of spreading hate speech. I was also advised not to record today's meeting because I'll just cause problems. I want to make it clear, I do not create the content of any meeting aside from my public comment. I merely provide a service for our community to be aware, or for our community to be included and aware. And I will continue to record these meetings until they are available free of charge to the public. If I can be that conduit, I will. And now we just found out. Next, we have people who are here today that want to be heard. We have people that are victims from the Francis explosion. Not all of them have received the same services or treatment. Approximately 7 weeks ago, I had a phone call with the Director of Communications. We discussed updates for the rumor control website. It was then that I found out about a service that would be beneficial to the victims. It was a service not announced for everyone. It was a complimentary inspection of the property so the victims could submit to their insurance carrier. After speaking with several people, they were not aware of this and had to pay out of pocket. This is why the community is losing faith in our city. It's the type of treatment they receive, the land of have and have-nots. We have a community has appealed the placement of tow yards. They were notified that this item will be on the agenda for July 20th meeting. Some people already don't feel safe to voice their concern about that project because they saw the treatment received when a community member spoke Spanish. They fear their language is not welcomed here. Lastly, the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, president and other individuals volunteered to work with a college group who is involved with an inclusion and innovation team representing Chaffey College. This program is sponsored through MIT. Chaffey is one of 4 colleges selected and the only in California that is participating. Armando has hosted a gathering for questions and answers held at Pixel Vault. We also had Susie from Murish join the group and provide some insight on starting a business. Armando is also sponsoring a table for the college students at the B Street event to share more about their project. Thank you for your time.
Our next speaker is Marcellus McMillian.
Good evening, City Council, Mayor, and to all of you that are here tonight. Very quickly, Galatians chapter 6 says, "Be not deceived, God is not mocked. Whatsoever a man soweth, that will he also reap." It was so eloquently put earlier, but I will make it emphatically clear so that everyone understands what I just said. Some people in this room better start praying for crop failure, because all I keep hearing and seeing on social media is nothing but slander and innuendo from people who do not have the testicular fortitude to stand on their own work and their own things that they have done in the community. I will not stand for this. As a founding member of the DeAndre Lampkin Foundation, I sit on boards of churches as well as foundations. And I have never in my entire life seen what I have seen in the past week. If you would like to lynch a black man in 2021, let me make it very clear to you, I am not about to allow it to be that black man. You are not going to put his head on the chopping block while you claim you are not racist. I have seen your comments. I have seen the things that you have said in your Facebook groups, but I have remained silent. I am remaining silent no more. It is slander, and it is not going to continue to happen, and I will not stand for it. Stand on your own convictions. If you want to lynch him, if you have a problem with the black man, problem is. And don't hide in your covens pretending like you love the Lord and you want to do God's work. Because the last time I checked, the Bible says that when I was hungry, you fed me. When I was in prison, you came to visit me. There are things that I'm seeing and I'm hearing that I cannot believe that people are doing it under the guise of being a Christian. The last time I checked, the Bible says that we are to make it our ambition to lead a quiet, peaceable life and attend to our own business. Now let me say, it is our business, this city, and I am not about to let our volunteers and the people who sit on our board be offered up to this city to be lynched in the middle of whatever kind of political jargon you all have going on. I will not stand for it. I don't care who you are, where you are, and where you are standing. You're going to have to come out wherever you are, because I'm coming for you now. Understand, I'm not going to stand here while you do this. You better get yourselves together and you better stop playing these games. We know racism when we see it. We know racism when we hear it. I am a black man living in this country, and I am not immune to knowing what racism looks like and sounds like. And I'm not about to let you do this, so you better get yourself together. And I find it very interesting that the very man that is getting on social media was standing on our red carpet singing the praises of DeAndre Lampkin, and all of a sudden, due to his conviction, he now has such a problem with DeAndre D. Lampkin. Get yourselves together.
Well, you've all been excused from church this week. So, our next speaker is Jesse Fonseca.
Hello, everybody. I know you all cringe when you hear my name or see my face, because I am here. I talk about the airplane noise that keeps going on, and you, Leon, you do nothing about it. Wagner, you're the president of the Ontario Airport Authority, which apparently has no authority. And on that, I made a few cliff notes. And for you to put Mr. Valencia in what you would have said as people were racist, bigots, and all the other stuff that you would say. It is very upsetting. You know, they say the person without the sins throw the first stone. I've got a rock in my hand, I'm gonna throw it. But that's not a threat to anybody. It's just the same. There is a code of ethics, and you two gentlemen have violated the code of ethics. You, Leon, by cheating on your wife. You by calling everybody a racist, a homophobe, and a bigot. There is a code of ethics, and you both violated it. So, something needs to be done. You calling out people like that is not right. Apparently, you don't want to bet anybody. And then, what the truth is too, you're making Mr. Valencia quit his seat just because you know he's going to run for mayor. That's the first time that's happened, hasn't it? And then now you're making the campaign funds whatever price you want. There was a limit. Now there's no limit.
1 minute remaining.
You know, the two that say your pastures, that's a big joke. I mean, you guys need to resign. You've been out there too long, way too long. It's time for somebody else to take over this city. That's for the people, and you two aren't doing it for the people. Everybody here knows that, and we have more residents that moved here to Ontario that don't know what you two are doing. I had a recording I was going to play, but I'll say that for next time.
Are you a veteran, Jessica?
You, wait a minute, I thought you weren't supposed to talk back.
Oh, no, I'm just asking.
Oh, yeah, you don't know that.
Okay, that's all, thank you.
I'm a permanently disabled veteran.
I'm just asking.
Why are you asking me that, when you've known this for years?
I didn't know.
That's a big joke. Yeah. And everybody else is saying, oh, I have no skeletons in my closet. There's nothing for me to hide. You're gonna change the way you do things. I'm serious.
Next speaker is Peggy Hazlett.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members, City Manager. So I have my 3 minutes prepared, but I'm going to go really, really fast. So it's a pleasure and an honor to be here tonight, to be in person and the Greater Ontario Business Council on behalf of my board of directors. Not tomorrow for Good Morning Ontario, we still will have a virtual meeting. But Thursday, we are pleased to announce that we will be back live for Pancakes and Politics. And we have the pleasure of having Councilmember Deborah Doris Parada on the panel along with City Manager Scott Ochoa. And we're going to be talking about local control. And when we say local control, we look at Alan Walker and we say, thank you for getting that airport back to us. But I think many business owners and many of our constituents don't understand exactly what local control is, how this dais has to operate, how many boards and other elected positions influence the way that we have to do business in the City of Ontario and our surrounding communities. Scott and I talked about this the other day. I can leave my office in a matter of 10 minutes, I can be in 4 different counties. That's crazy. But each of those counties have an influence, and we saw it during the pandemic. We were tracking what LA was doing because that was impacting the businesses in San Bernardino, which were impacting the businesses in Riverside and Ventura County and LA and San Diego counties. As a business representative representing over 500 businesses and over 200,000 employees in this region, we need to understand how this dais and the electeds that we have on that dais can do the job that we elect them to do. So thank you so much for being on our panel on Thursday. It's at the DoubleTree at 8 o'clock. We're keeping it down to just 30 to 40 folks. So if you haven't already registered, please do tomorrow. We have about 5 seats left. And again, thank you, Mr. Ochoa, and thank you, Dr. Sprout.
Our next speaker is Armando Rodriguez.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I'm actually pleased today to come today and tell everybody that our B Street Business Festival, sorry I lost my voice over too much talking. Our B Street Business Festival is happening this Sunday. I'm coming to everybody again to invite everybody and the residents of Ontario to come to a festival that Ontario Hispanic Chamber has created geared towards small businesses and all the local merchants here in Ontario and surrounding areas as well. We've invited local organizations. We also invited city services to come and also participate in our event, which I am actually proud of announcing too, that it's all privately funded by the merchants, businesses, and also Radpro Studios, which is on B Street as well. Radpro Studios is actually setting up a stage with a lot of local bands and artists, a lot of live bands that are also participants of Ontario that do their recordings in that studio as well. As talking to the businesses on B Street, they're all happy for this event that we're bringing to them. For the fact that we're actually bringing more life towards the west side of B Street and also the surrounding areas. So it's gonna be like an open house for them as well. So again, I invite everybody this Sunday to our B Street Business Festival. It's happening in the morning from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. So again, thank you everybody also and also the city staff, which some of them might be here for helping us out with this smooth transaction as well. Thank you everybody.
Thank you, Armando. And our next speaker is Jose Perez.
Muy buenas tardes, yo me llamo José Pérez, soy residente aquí de Ontario. Tengo 3 años que me acabo de mover. Creí yo que salí de una ciudad malona. Ustedes entienden que el este de Los Ángeles tiene una inseguridad. Y busqué aquí en Ontario para mover a mi familia, darles una oportunidad mejor de vivir un lote, una propiedad más grande, tener animales y cosas así.
My name is Antonio Paredes. I've been living here for 3 years. I moved here from the Los Angeles area seeking a safer community with a large piece of property to be able to raise my children here in peace.
Yo quisiera ser como la mujer esa que tiene 23 años viviendo en esta bonita ciudad. Yo quisiera decir eso lo mismo, pero obviamente soy una víctima de esta explosión, del incidente del Francis.
I would like to be like the other resident here that's been living here for 23 years, but unfortunately I'm a victim of the Francis incident.
Vengo a pedirles a ustedes, llevamos para 4 meses de este incidente. Sigo viviendo en una casa parchada, sin ventanas. Mi aseguranza me dice que me va a cubrir. Está bueno, pero seguimos con lo mismo. Este pasado 4 de julio fue una cosa muy desagradable para mí y mi familia. Ya había hablado a la policía para que estuvieran más al tanto de proteger a los residentes como nosotros.
It's been 4 months since the incident, and I'm still living in a home that unfortunately is in disarray, with patches through the wall, broken windows, uninhabitable. And this past 4th of July weekend, me and my family have been dealing with the illegal explosions throughout the neighborhood, and we wish that the city would be more attentive with the policing of these illegal fireworks.
Estoy muy desamorizado con nuestros residentes, que obviamente sabían que es ilegal hacer estas cosas, pero de todos modos se oían los ruidos, los cohetes, y desafortunadamente mis niños ya están traumados. Yo no estuve cuando pasó esto, pero toda mi familia estuvo allí.
My family's been very traumatized by this whole incident and the illegal explosions that continue to occur. It's been very demoralizing for me and my family. I wasn't there when it occurred, but my family is very much affected and has essentially PTSD-like symptoms from the explosion that occurred during that incident.
Pregunto a la policía, ¿hubo citatorios, warnings? ¿Captaron a alguien a hacer esto? Porque yo personalmente estuve manejando por media hora y yo de mis propios ojos miré a varias personas hacer esas cosas. ¿Cómo no nuestra policía nos puede proteger? Yo tengo un trabajo, yo soy constructor, a mí me pagan para hacer mi trabajo. En este caso, los policías les tengo mucho respeto, pero por favor hagan su trabajo mejor.
I have a lot of respect for the police, but I just want them to do a better job in policing the neighborhood. Within a half-hour period, I was driving around my neighborhood and saw several violations. I want to inquire about any citations that may have occurred over those few days. Was there anyone captured during that time setting off illegal fireworks? So I just want to know what type of statistics might have come out of this weekend.
Y realmente quiero saber qué perjudicaba la vida de mi familia con esta explosión. Quiero detalles, porque estuvimos muy cerca, estamos bendecidos que no nos pasó nada. Obviamente está en material, mi casa está destrozada, pero que topen eso, no hay problema. Mis hijos estamos bien, obviamente con poquitos problemas hay, pero esperemos superar esto.
We're hoping that we'll be able to move on from this, but it's been very detrimental to me and my family. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. My house is in disarray, but I want to see resolution happen from the incident.
He tenido la oportunidad de venir aquí a estas juntas. No tenía intención yo de conocer a ninguno de ustedes, la verdad. Yo tengo mi vida, concentrados en mi familia. Y a lo que escucho, el alcalde ha hecho muchas cosas por la ciudad, mejorar el downtown de aquí de Ontario, Ranch, ¿saben qué tantos otros lugares? Les pido por favor, tenemos un vecindario ahorita destrozado, favor de, si se puede renovar pronto, y por favor, si nos pueden ayudar.
Please help the community in rebuilding the area that was affected by the Francis incident. I hear there's a lot of good things going on in the city. The mayor has done a lot of things to better help the different areas and the communities such as downtown and Ontario Ranch. But please pay attention to our community and help rebuild our neighborhood because it is in shambles.
Usted alababa a este señor, le llamaba Hércules, algo así. Tuve la oportunidad, después de la junta, hablé con esta persona y su comentario fue que no es su obligación de ayudarme. La única persona que tengo que dar las gracias es al American Red Cross.
And I wanted to thank the American Red Cross. I was supposed to help someone. Someone was asked to help me, but they said that they weren't able to help me, and the American Red Cross was the only person that was able to help me.
Okay, thank you. And we're working on all of that, and we need to give him a rundown on what's been going on.
We can certainly, at this point, have Captain Lopez talk with Mr. Perez. We've gotten to know during the course of the aftermath of the Francis incident. Ultimately, 1,600 calls were answered over the weekend related to fireworks. 46 citations were issued for $1,000 each.
Okay, so that's the end of our public comment portion of our meeting.
Can that be posted online? Can you update that website online? That would be, please.
Zochi, there's no, you can't do that. You can ask anytime you like, but not right now. You know what we're gonna do is we're gonna take 5 minutes, and you can ask somebody, and then we'll be right back, okay? We're gonna start the meeting again at exactly 7:45.